It's a good day to have a good day. Hello, everybody. My name is Cece Ray. Thank you for joining me. It has been a week so far. Well, we touched base with each other, of course, less than a week. But what have you been doing? What have you been up to? I can tell you what I've been doing. I have an infection right here. I don't know if you can see my face. Yeah, I got an infection right there. Can you see it? Yeah. It doesn't tickle, just to let y'all know. So I'm, you know, not a happy camper right now. I got my flu shot. I don't know if you can see that right there. I was a good girlie, got my flu shot. All my breakers should be getting their flu shots. So are you listening to me, breakers? Get your flu shots. And let's just chat real quick before we get into the recap here. What is going on with Real Housewives of New Jersey? You tell me, right? So it's been told to us by little birdies singing everywhere. So, we don't know fact or not, but it's a very good idea. That Melissa, Margaret, and Dolores have been filming with the newbies. Now, we've been told that was like test footage to see if they could get along or not, or what, the chemistry was. Or are they really starting to film? Because now they're not filming right now. No one's been filming since. So anyway, I find it a coincidence, however, that all of a sudden Teresa comes out and is like, well, I've had a lot of time to think, and since I did that show, remember she did the Four show or whatever it's called. Since I did that show, like I've really, it's really done wonders for me. And so like, I want to be a role model for my daughters, and I want to be a role model for my followers. And so like, I have to let go of the past, right? And I got to move forward, and I need to move forward, right? So like, um so that's my olive branch. Yeah, I'm gonna keep the door open. I mean, like cracked a little bit, you know what I mean? Yeah, that's my olive branch. Yeah, of course. I mean, I'm keeping the door cracked open. That's my olive branch. Yeah, I'm letting the past go and I'm moving forward. And so, you know, I can't stay mad forever, because I want to be a role model to my daughters and my followers. So yeah, I'm giving an olive branch. Are you kidding me? That woman's never given an olive branch. How long has she been on television? 16, 17 years? She has never given an olive branch. At camp? Yeah, she had a whole revision at camp, too. That lasted about, I don't know, half a season. Well, no, it lasted as long as, her parole ended, let's put it that way. And then we got Teresa back. There she goes. And so, yeah, I find that kind of coincidental. When Melissa Gorga and Joe, they were interviewed, I don't know who were they interviewing them. They asked them about this going on social media, and Melissa was like, I'm questioning the timing. I mean, it's been like a year, 2 years, like, she's had all this time, and so I'm not sure it's the right time. I'm questioning the timing. What she really wanted to say was, "Are you kidding me, Teresa? Really? You want to give us an olive branch?" That's what she really wanted to say. I'm sure of it. And it is coincidental. You know what I'm reading into this? I'll tell you what I'm reading into this. Bravo said, look, you want to come back to Real Housewives of New Jersey? Ooh, even my microphone's upset. You want to come back to the Real Housewives of Real Housewives of New Jersey? You can do that. You need to make up with your brother. You need to make up with Melissa. You need to film with them all the time. We don't want to hear any nonsense. We don't want to hear any arguing. We don't want to hear any complaining. And if you can do that and you don't go backwards to the way you were when you were fighting all the time and having bloggers coming in and, trying to get dirt on them and putting it out on social media and, all that fun stuff. If you can do that, then maybe we'll have you back. She has never taken accountability for anything she's done to those two. I mean, never. If you listen to her, just like a month ago, even up on her podcast, she goes over the same thing. Well, they joined the show behind my back, Mm-hmm. Yeah, they did. No, really? We're going to forgive now? Okay, whatever you say, Teresa. So if you haven't heard that, I'm letting you breakers know. But right now, we are going to get into the recap of Salt Lake City Season 6. Can you believe that? Episode 2. It was a doozy. But before we do that, you know what we need to do. You need to like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, because here we break the news, we dish the tea right here at Break the Dish. Season 6, Episode 2. Every time I say Episode 6, wow. Have they been on that long already? It just seems like yesterday. Crazy, right? Anyway, we left off with them. They're in this like Blair Witch scenario out in the woods somewhere looking for this legend that apparently snatches up the Mormon girls if they were bad. And now we're waking up to everyone waking up in the RV. Sun is shining. It snowed apparently through the night. That type of situation. And I love how Meredith on her interview goes, they're not going to let anything happen to us. The network isn't going to let us die. It's so funny. Anyway, so they all go out. They're taking pictures. Like, what a beautiful scenery. I think there's like moose or deer or something in the background over there. And so now they're all sitting around, trying to cook breakfast. Yes. And lovely Bronwyn, she's doing her best, even though she says, I wouldn't eat anything I make. Like, she doesn't cook at all. Here she is cooking steaks and, like, handing them out, like, just slapping them on whatever you got. She slaps one into Mary Cosby's bowl, and Mary Cosby's got, like, this plastic knife, and she's trying to cut it, and she's like, I can't cut this. Duh, So afterwards, they're all sitting around the fire, and Heather opens up about her daughter getting all these acceptance letters, and he's getting ready to go to, she's getting ready to go to college, and she feels guilty because she cannot wait for her to leave. This is her last one. This is her youngest. She can't wait for her to leave because she feels as though, when she was raising them and everything she went through, the divorce and being a single mother and no help from the father, really. I'm not talking about financially. I'm talking about emotional support. Like, I think he had visitation like once a week. And leaving the church and all this. Like, she's not the same Heather that she is now, and she just wants to be able to start this new chapter, and so she can't wait for her to graduate. And I kind of understand that. I do understand that. And then Bronwyn says, I'm the complete opposite. Her daughter is getting ready to graduate, and she doesn't want her to leave at all. And matter of fact, she's even moved her boyfriend in. Yeah, she's even moved her boyfriend in. Anything to keep her in the house because she wants more time with her. She doesn't feel like she's had enough time with her. And I think Heather kind of takes it as, oh, so like you're a better parent than me because you don't want her to leave. But I don't think that's the way Bronwyn really meant it, to be quite honest. I mean, she was just saying, I get it, and, no matter what, it's hard. Listen, I just had, I just had, my fourth one go to college last year. The other one's already at college. And my youngest entered high school, which I can't even believe. And I hate them being there. I hate them being at college because, I do miss them. I miss them so much. And yet, listen, I always tell them I didn't give birth to them not to see them fly. So, it's a journey. And it's a journey that you have to go through, no matter which side you're on. I can see both sides, Heather, and I can see, Bronwyn's side too, to be honest. But I still have one at home. She's my baby. And I've got 3.5 more years left of her before she goes to college. So I'm taking advantage of it. So then, this was funny though. They all pack up, they're ready to leave, and the RV gets stuck. So they all got to jump out and like push the RV. Mary Cosby's like, yeah, I'm not pushing no RV. Mm-mm. No, ma'am. Mm-mm. Then back in Salt Lake City, everybody now is getting ready to go to this event. Apparently, it's being hosted by Amy and Jim Steele. They're these big socialites in Salt Lake City. And Heather, in the meantime, meets up with Lisa Barlow. Of course, Heather's meeting up with Lisa Barlow. She probably couldn't wait to. Listen, she's tried to be her friend for years. Now, all of a sudden, they're friends. They're not friends. Trust me, they're not really friends. Heather might think so. But no. I digress. Anyway, so Heather meets with Lisa to fill her in on all the gossip that went on at, when they were camping. And, she goes on to tell her that, she was the subject of conversation most of the trip. And that Bronwyn really, set that aflame by talking about your lawsuits and, you have so many of them. And she was like researching it and, and Lisa Barlow's like, that's not true. Like, that's not true. That's not true at all. Like, I don't know where she's getting that from. Like, she's disgusting. She's a liar. She's disgusting. Yeah, she's not a liar. And she's like, well, did anybody else like, back me up? Did anybody have my back? And Heather's like, Lisa Barlow's like, nobody? What about Meredith? Did she have my back? Well, Meredith kind of stayed silent. That's Meredith. But Angie K had something to say. What did Angie say? Well, she compared you to Jen Shaw. No, she didn't. She didn't say that. That was somebody else said that. She said that she didn't really have nice things to say about you. She was more backing up Bronwyn. And she does have lawsuits, which we will get into at the end of the recap here. Then Lisa, like, in her interview was basically like, no one sues the bottom, bitch. They all go for the top. Yeah, you're at the top, Lisa. I mean, she's in front of Heather going, oh, she's disgusting. She's a liar. Well, she has lawsuits, so I don't know why she's like, I don't have any, or, this is a lie. Just admit it. Get it over with. Lisa Barlow can't do that. So Whitney and Bronwyn go skiing. They're having a great time. These two really get along. I really feel like they really do get along. And after they were skiing, they were talking about everything, and it's they're talking about Lisa's lawsuits, and of course Whitney's on Bronwyn's side because look what Lisa's done to Whitney over the years. I mean, even though she doesn't want to admit it, everybody knows it was her. Then you go into Mary, and apparently they're like filming in her bedroom or sitting room or whatever. She's got like pajamas on, and she's like, putting stuff on that's supposed to calm her down. And her son comes in, Robert Jr., and he sits down on the couch across from her, and she's like, "What's up, Bubba?" This was such a heart-breaking scene. I mean, it literally leaves you speechless. He's gone through rehab. He was in there 30 days. He's now home. They had asked her on the camping trip how he is. I think it was Whitney who asked her. And she had said, he has his good days and he has his bad days. And he goes on to tell her, I'm not feeling this. I'm not feeling that great. She's like, "What's wrong?" And he's like, I've, come back to the place, to my home. Now it's different. And he's isolated himself. He feels isolated. And Mary's trying to give him encouragement, saying, "Well, you need to isolate yourself from all those people that you did drugs with, because you don't need them in your life. They're beneath you. So just keep on doing what you're doing." And he's just kind of like, "Yeah, but I mean, you can see he's hanging on by a thread." He goes on to tell Mary how, he's not only using food as a substitution for drugs, but he's using drugs. Mary's like, "Not the bad ones that you were using before." He's like, "No, no, no. But I am using." And she's like, "Did you smoke today?" And he's like, "Yeah." And he's beating himself up over it because, that means he's not completely sober. And I mean, this was just a heart-wrenching scene. Unbelievable. It has got to be so hard. No parent wants to be in that position. And, my thoughts and prayers go out to Mary because recently her son was arrested just like a month ago. Very, very sad. So then we go into Heather and Bronwyn. They're going out to lunch. They're going to try and, work out their differences. Bronwyn really wants to be friends with Heather. Like, she just feels as though, she's always gotten off on the wrong foot. Bronwyn's like, I don't know what it is about this girl, but I'm going to go and play nice, And so they meet for drinks, and they're talking about everything. And Bronwyn says, "Look, I hope you didn't think that, when we were talking at the campground, that I was judging how you are as a mother, because I really was trying to support you." And so at the end of the conversation, they both say cheers. And, even though Bronwyn did bring up that she thought that Heather being friends with Lisa is a hindrance on them trying to be friends and creating a relationship. Heather said no. Yeah. Right. So now, we get into, you know, the, big party. And, at the Steels, everybody's dressed up. It looks beautiful. And, Lisa, well, first, Brahman's there, Heather's there, Mary and Brahman actually come in together. Everyone's there, and it's beautiful. The home's beautiful. Looks like the party's gorgeous. And then here comes Lisa Barlow, and everybody like stops and stares. Dun dun dun, you know what I mean? And Lisa goes up to Meredith, and she's like, so how was the trip, and she was like, it was good. And she was like, I heard everybody was talking about me, so I really want to know what's been said. I mean, like, I really want to know. Meredith's like, yeah, there was a lot, you might want to talk to all the ladies, because I mean, there was a lot, and it wasn't nice, Lisa. I'm gonna tell you, it wasn't nice at all. So then Bronwyn pops her little head in. I mean, she is just so annoying. You just want to pop her. And so she's like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. Was it my interrupting? And they're like, no, we were just talking about the camping trip. And Lisa Barlow looks at Bronwyn and goes, I heard things were being said to me. Do you have anything to say? And she's like, ugh. Brahman brought out all this stuff about you, and Angie K, she compared you to Jen Shaw. Dun dun dun. Yikes. Jen Shaw? Well, that got Lisa going, because Jen Shaw's in prison, if you aren't aware of that. So, Brahman basically, just instead of hiding, is like, just come to me, come to the source, And she's like, I don't want anything to do with you. And she's trying to talk to Angie K. She's like, and I don't know, like Angie K and her, like, they just don't mix. You know what I mean? They just don't mix. But Bronwyn, I mean, she was not letting go of this at all. She was like, you've talked about me in the press, you've talked about me on social media, you're constantly making statements about me, and yet, here you are with all these lawsuits, but you don't want to talk about those. And the way Brahman's going at it, like, Lisa, what you need is money to pay those bills. That's what you need. But then Lisa comes out. I mean, where she thinks up these things, I have no idea. But Lisa comes out with, well, all you do is suck out dick. That's what she said. All you do is suck gout. Yeah. And Brahman's like, at least it's my husband. You have somebody paying your American Express card. Who is that? You need to worry about who's paying your Amex, and not worry about me and my husband and, basically what goes on in the bedroom type deal. I mean, Brahman's just, she had all her facts and she was ready. I mean, she was like a machine gun against Lisa Barlow. She just shot it one by one. It's pretty much how it ended, people, to be quite honest. It's kind of a weird ending, I know, but it's the truth. So Lisa Barlow walked away with her husband. The crazy thing was, I don't know if anybody noticed this, But the crazy thing is that before the party started, they were filming Lisa Barlow and her husband in the limo, like, or SUV or whatever, coming up to the party. They barely looked at each other. I mean, they didn't even say a word to each other. And Lisa Barlow kept looking at him like, "You gonna say anything? Are you gonna say anything?" Like, it was weird. I mean, it was weird. Something's going on there. Because I can tell you, this isn't my first rodeo. Where there's smoke, there is fire, people. Now, let's get into this real quick before we say goodbye to each other. I know, tear. Lisa Barlow does have some major lawsuits that are current as of today. I'm not talking about in the past, but as of today, which means these were probably going on then too. She has a $400,000 loan. That's a lawsuit now from William McGeary, who is a Georgia financer. And the allegation is that Lisa and her husband, John Barlow, borrowed $400,000 from McGeary's trust, that is, in 2022 to purchase raw materials for Vita Tequila. That's their company. Yeah, this is all alleged. I better say that now. Alleged. The terms of the loan was due by December 27th, 2023, with 5% interest. The claim is that McGeary alleges the Barlows never repaid the loan and misrepresented how the funds would be used. He accuses them of securities fraud, stating Vita Tequila didn't actually need the materials and already had inventory. Now, the status of this case, okay. It was dismissed without prejudice. Now, what that means is it was dismissed, but they can bring it back into court if they want to. So we'll see how that goes. The next lawsuit is $410,842. It's filed by a longtime friend and former business partner, Bart Carlson. I want you to hear that. Longtime friend and business partner. Allegations are between 2010 and 2018. Carlson claims he loaned Lisa over $410,000 to help her pay her bills during financial hardship. The details is that Lisa allegedly made payments to third parties to hide the loans from her husband and business partners. Now, this is what Brahman's talking about. Now, there's more to that, by the way. And they show it to you, actually, the actual documents from the lawsuit on Bravo. They're showing you quotes and pages of it and stuff like that. And it does say that she wanted to keep it from her husband. Carlson says there were no formal repayment terms, but Lisa's team disputes this, calling the claim a fanciful tale. This is her new phrase. Fanciful tale. It's a fanciful tale, everybody. It's a fanciful tale. This is what's happening here. So Lisa's motion to dismiss was denied in October of 2024. That's not even a year ago, people. And so this case is ongoing. So now what I'm thinking is, at the time that they were filming and what's going on with this case, I'm thinking that her husband is starting to find out what she did behind his back by being in the court and seeing documents proving it. I think that's what we're seeing here. The other lawsuit is for $105,954. I mean, come on, only $100,000. They should be able to pay that just like that. They're rich, isn't that what Lisa Barlow always says? It's filed by the Financial Services Corporation in 2023. The allegation is that Lisa and John Barlow allegedly, make sure we put that in, defaulted on a loan of $105,954.16 tied to Vida Tequila. The status is that this case is also part of the broader legal scrutiny surrounding Lisa's business. So this case is ongoing, I believe, or they've settled. One of the two. This is all allegedly. But what's not allegedly is that this is what I really think is happening. During this filming, this is happening. This main court case is happening while they're filming. This is why you didn't see Lisa Barlow. This is why Lisa Barlow looks a little emotional in the previews. And I think this is why these two aren't even speaking to each other in the car. Because I think her husband's finding out what she's been doing behind his back this whole time. That's a big uh-oh. Oopsie. Anyway. It's that time, breakers. I gave it to you. And I gave it to you. That's right. Don't forget to and listen. Don't forget to let me know what you think about everything that happened in this episode. You can let me know in the comments. I love to hear from you. It makes my whole day because then I feel like I'm having a conversation with you. So make sure you write down in the comments what you think about. Don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that notification bell so you don't miss anything here, because here we break the news and we dish the tea here at Break the Dish.